All right, we're out at the Edward Jones office here in downtown Seguin, and we're looking at doing some siding. Pretty basic, just basically a full tear off. Has masonite on there, can't really match any hardy profile to that. So it all has to come off to be done correctly. Really don't think, considering doing a skirting with hardy is something we want to do. One, because of, the possibility of water infiltration at the seam area. And two, the masonite is just not in good shape. It really wouldn't be a great recommendation, or really a kind of a great thing to do is just cut a skirt around the bottom. So definitely wouldn't recommend that, and I'm not going to price that, but I can price a full replacement with a hardy, and that is something we could definitely do. Definitely would recommend a fascia overlay. So that's basically where we would put a 5/16 inch board on all of this fascia. There is an integrated metal drip cap over the drip edge on the roofing system. So we don't want to disturb that. So we leave the drip cap and the drip edge alone. What we would be doing is putting a 5/16 by probably 6 and a quarter inch over the existing fascia to prevent any kind of further rot or maintenance with the fascia. There are a couple places where there's some rot in the fascia, not major, but definitely putting the fascia on there is a very low cost, high return component of the project. Over these 3 banks of windows here, there's a twin set of windows, 3 of them. There's a little 1-foot apron, so that would all be hardy. This front gable would be hardy, and then underside of the porch ceiling, recommend painting that. Doors in good shape. No, don't really need to do anything there. Coming around to the side, it's got some visibility problems on the back, but I think we can make it work here. So really straightforward, but you can see most of the rot is around the bottom course, the first course of board, which is very common with masonite. Nothing unusual going on here. All the electrical and everything that's right back here would have to be pulled off. You can kind of see it in the shadows. Wrap the windows. Both windows would be wrapped in hardy 1x4. And then there's a triangular gable vent. We would just keep that and paint it to match the siding color. Soffit, definitely recommend getting that caulked and sealed and painted as a component of this project. You can see here a lot of places where the soffit is minor separated from the fascia. And definitely needs to be caulked and sealed properly. Also, just a point to mention, the fascia on the underside is cut flush with the soffit. So I'm not a big fan of that, especially with that crack between the soffit and the backside of the fascia where it needs to be caulked, because basically water is going to pool, run down this fascia and back up under the soffit because there's no drip capability extending on the fascia. So doing the fascia overlay would extend this fascia about a 1/2 inch below where it is now, and would give us the proper water runoff, as opposed to it just running flush back off the fascia and up into the soffit. So I think that's a recommendation that can give you a lot of miles and also prevent future problems. Basically the whole backside, you probably can't see it on the video, but where the soffit meets the backside of the fascia, the entire length of the backside is not caulked. So there's a hole there. It's not gaping, but it's probably a good 1/4 inch, maybe a 1/2 inch in some places, where that needs to be sealed up to prevent, water, bugs, and potential, future problems. So I would recommend that highly. Backside is just a flush wall, 8-foot wall. There you go. So we have plenty of workspace there. Got an AC unit there that might be the only impediment there, but otherwise just an 8-foot wall straight across flush. So again, full tear off would be recommended. We would install an OSB board, and then the Tyvek wrap, the home wrap, and then basically trim and siding after that. All would be James Hardie products, so there would be no combination of some pressure treated or a cedar. The trim and the siding would all be of the same consistency and material. And then coming over to the last side here, you got 2 windows and a door. Again, same process, wrapping it with the Hardie 1x4. Got the same triangular gable vent, all the fascia up and down the gable. And then this side is probably in a little bit better condition than the other side. You got crack right there, a seam. That's a bad guy for potential water. Another issue right there with that seam, potential water, and 2 more over here. So those would definitely something should be addressed there. If you don't do the siding, definitely need to fill in some of these cracks, just like the soffit gap behind the back side of the fascia. That needs to be sealed up just to prevent, especially because that fascia is cut level or even with the soffit. That if this were my building, I'd want to have that addressed properly, just to, again, to prevent future problems. Here's a good area. You can clearly see it here. See that? So that's what I'm talking about. And since the fascia is cut even, maybe not so much on this side because of the pitch, but still the potential is there for that water to run on that fascia, and instead of wicking away from the house or being diverted away from the house, it can pull back up under that fascia and run right into this crack that you see visible in the video. So that's really what we're looking at here. Very straightforward, but that would be the recommendation. The benefit, obviously, of doing the hardy on the whole structure as opposed to the skirting is obviously aesthetics. It would not look right to have hardy for that first course or two, maybe 1 or 2 feet, and then have the rest be this masonite. Again, you're just introducing maintenance and really not fixing much of a problem, except that first run of board that's rotted. Elsewhere, you're gonna have the same problems. It's just a matter of time. So our proper solution, and probably the only solution that we should entertain, is a full replacement with hardy. That's what we got. Pretty straightforward process. Probably a 1.5 week job. Nothing major. 2 weeks probably with painting and everything. That's pretty much what we're looking at. There would be the option to paint the columns if you wanted to do that up front. There's 2 circular columns, kind of fluted columns. You could paint those, but other than that, pretty straightforward. So thank you very much. We'll send a proposal, and if you have any questions, you always feel free to get a hold of me. Thank you. Ryan Houchin, 210-204-2353 is my cell phone.